Hey everyone, thanks for joining Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and in today's video we'll look at a brand new hidden project that Ivy Studio has just announced for Moonrakers. That is the new app, Luminor. This is going to add a fully cooperative mode to the game and is going to allow you to take your core game of Moonrakers and turn it into that cooperative game. You can also add the expansions that are going to be coming later on this month to Kickstarter, and those are all going to be compatible with this app. And then based on how the Kickstarter does, there might be more stuff that is added, and then they are hopefully intending to add more stuff as time goes on, but it all kind of depends on how well this does. Now, I know that there's a few of you out there that aren't a big fan of apps within board games, but with this one, I don't think that there was really any way that they would have been able to do this otherwise and still allowing it to be free with that. And this, like I said, there's a lot of different randomness with this. I think you could pull it off within a board game, but I think that would have to have been like a $50, $60 expansion onto Moonrakers to add all the additional cards and dice and all the different things and having books to randomize different things. I think it would have been a lot bigger problem than having this app. So I am all for this. It's a really cool app, and it definitely allows me to enjoy Moonrakers in any way that I want to. And I'm a big fan of cooperative games. I love them. Actually, a funny story with this is at Origins, I was able to meet one of the designers before I knew about this project, and I was working on the expansions or videos for the expansions that are going to be coming out shortly, and I have some of them out already. But I said, it would be really neat if you could drop an expansion that would make this game fully cooperative. And he's like, you know what? I have something to show you. You can't talk about it, but I have something to show you. And that's when he showed me the program and how it works. And I was set. I was like, man, let me at it. I'm really excited about that. So this is one I've been waiting to cover for a while, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So like I said, this is a free program that should be available by the time you watch this video. It should be available on Stream, and it'll work with both Windows and Apple, I think, for right now. I don't know if it's going to work on phones and tablets. I think this might be exclusively, or it might be exclusive to computers, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I think you would probably want to have it on a computer anyways. I think the bigger screen definitely makes the app a lot more enjoyable. I think on a phone it might be too small. It might be kind of a pain in the butt to work with. But for those of you, I'm not 100% sure if it will or not, so you'll have to check that out. Other than that, in the video, I'm going to be playing through this using my 2 players. I'm going to be playing them as a simultaneous. This is a solo app as well, so you can use it as a solo. I'll be running 2 players, so normally each of the players are going to do their turn simultaneously, but obviously I can't run 2 absolutely at the same time, so I will be bouncing back and forth between them to kind of simulate that, but it still works really well. I'm also going to be doing jump cuts in between each one of the turns when I have to reshuffle the cards in that. That way then you don't have to sit through all that and watch me shuffle up all these cards all the time. Unfortunate side effect of deck builders, but that'll help keep the video moving faster. So other than that, like I said, I have the coverage on my channel of each one of the other expansions coming to Moonrakers, and each one of them adds a very different new feature to the game or expands the game in a different way. So depending upon which way you want to play Moonrakers, there's all kinds of different options for you. So other than that, like I said, I'll have all those in the description below. If you find these videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we can continue to grow and be able to produce this content. If you want to get notified anytime I release new videos, hit that notification bell, and that'll let you know whenever I drop new stuff. So let's head to the table and we'll see how this one plays. Alright, so we're ready to move into the game at this point, and I went ahead and did all the preliminary setup stuff, putting all the information into the program, and now we're ready to begin the mission. So right away we have 2 different options. We can go to capture a transporter, or we can go ahead and do some mapping. So that is our choice. We can click on each one of these and they'll give us a little bit of information about that particular mission or contract, and then the requirements for that, some of the risks, and some of the potential rewards. So, tough choice here. I think I'm gonna go with some mapping though, as I have some additional cards for those, as each one of my guys picked up their starting ability. I have the Sapphire MK2 here, which reduces my requirements for reactors by 1, and also gave me an additional reactor. And then over here, I have the Vector Jets E3, which gives each one of my characters an additional card during the beginning of a contract, and then that gives them a thruster as well. So this one might be the contract that'd be more suited to me. So let's go ahead and sign that contract. All right, so this is going to tell us about it. So it says, hello again. I've been working with some of my Ventus colleagues to keep up to date on high density Lunar scans in each sector in the solar system. This area has fallen outside our regency parameters. Could you help us out? We'll pay, of course. We're on it. All right, so this area is a bit large and we'll need to scan 3 stages. All right, so we're gonna have to complete 3 steps within this. And so then we're gonna go ahead and click, we got it. All right, so this is gonna give us our requirements here. So 5 reactors and 2 thrusters, but thanks to my card, that's gonna be 4 reactors and 2 thrusters. So at this point, our players are going to simultaneously start and play. So each one of my characters is gonna start by drawing 5 cards, and they get that 1 additional card thanks to his card there. So there's my 6 for that one. And this guy's gonna get 6 as well. So there's my starting 5. So not too bad, and 6. All right, so then the players are gonna simultaneously carry out their actions. Now, obviously I can't run both at the same time, so I'm gonna handle them individually, but I might not complete all the actions with one as I move into the other, as some of the things that they can do can help each other out, and I don't wanna completely close out one person unless I'm sure. And then I also have the energy bank, which is an ability that we can use, and it says that I can put a miss card from my hand onto the bottom of my draw pile to give an ally an additional action. So my player over here does have 1 of those, so potentially if this player is going to, if they need another action, I can do that to help them out. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with this player over here first then, as that could be very handy depending upon what happens with this guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off by playing a reactor. It gives me 2 actions. I'll go ahead and play some thrusters to draw 2 additional cards. So I have a miss and another reactor. And then I will go ahead and play another reactor to give me 2 actions. And I don't have any other thrusters at this point, so I'm gonna go ahead and play a 3rd reactor that gives me, so I have 3 actions remaining. I can go ahead and play these if I want to, but I don't really necessarily need to. And then I'm gonna hold on to this one just in case my other player over here needs it. So at this point, all I need is 1 more reactor and 1 more thruster. My player over here has that covered. So I'm gonna go ahead and play my reactor first. I'll play one of my thrusters. Lets me draw 2 cards. And play another reactor. Might as well play the thrusters, why not? Gives me those. And I'll play the reactor and a couple defense. So these will be discarded from there. So then we'll move back to the mission. So it says we play simultaneously. I can also choose to trash an X card to play as a thruster card, which could be very, very handy. And that also gets rid of those X cards out of there, out of your hands. And then I may roll a hazard die to play as a reactor. I didn't need that in this situation, so that was very good. So I'm gonna go ahead and say success, as we met the requirements for that. And then the done is going to have us reshuffle all of our cards. At this point, we'll include the card from the discard. All right, so moving back into it now, each one of my players, again, will draw 5 cards. This does not affect them anymore, as this is not the beginning of the contract, so I won't get to draw that extra card. Now moving into the second step here, again, I need 5 more reactors, or 4 thanks to my player's ability, and 2 thrusters. Now unfortunately with this one, there's some issues here. So all players must either choose to put 2 cards from their hand back onto their draw pile, or roll 1 hazard die. So each of my players is gonna have to make a choice on that. And let's see here. So I already have enough. I have 4 reactors and 2 thrusters in my hand. So instead of taking damage, I could choose to do that with each of my players. So I think I will, because I'm gonna basically get those cards back right away. But on the other side of things, my next hand is gonna have these 2 plus 3 cards, and I've already got a lot of those. So I think instead, at least with this person, since I have 1 defense already, I'm gonna go ahead and roll a hazard die for them. And it comes up as 2, uh-oh. All right, this guy has to choose what he's gonna do. Well, let's risk it. Why not? Let's see what we can get here. And it's a blank, so blue lucked out on that one. All right, so I've handled that. Now we're back into it. So again, we'll play simultaneously. I can choose to trash an X-miss card to play as a thruster, and I can take a hazard die to play as a reactor. All right, so back into it. Let's see here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do unicorn first here. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the reactor and the thruster to let me draw 2 additional cards. So I got another reactor and a miss. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that. And gives me 2 more actions. So I'll play a shield. And play another reactor. I am going to go ahead and discard the miss card. Lets me count it as a thruster card. Lets me draw 2 additional cards because I don't really want to start off, there we go, at taking a bunch of damage, as damage is very expensive to repair in this game. So I'm going to go ahead and play a additional shield, and I might as well play my other thruster since I have it, and that gives me more than enough than I needed. All right, moving over to my other player here, Dragon. He's gonna go ahead and start off by playing the reactor and the thruster to draw 2. So he's got another thruster and a shield. And we'll go ahead and drop that other reactor. Gives him 2 additional actions. I could keep going. Might as well. Let's try to get through as many cards in the deck as possible here. And then drop those 2. So I only have 2 left. There's not much else I can do about that. So that is going to finish off my turn, and I have more than I needed for the reactors and thrusters, and I did block the 2 shields for the hazards. So that is good there. So I was successful again. Again, I will go ahead and reshuffle. All right, and I'm ready to move into my final thing. So this time I'm going to need 6 reactors and 2 thrusters. Luckily, again, I'm going to be reducing that requirement by 1. So I'm going to need 5 and 2 this time. And I have some pressure, so all players must roll 1 hazard die. So this time we're forced to do so. So over with Unicorn, has 2 again. Unicorn just likes getting all that damage. And 2 on blue as well. So that's not good. And then it's back again with the same results. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with blue this time. Again, I get that reactor and thruster. So now I'm gonna go ahead and draw 2 additional cards. I have another reactor and another reactor. So that's gonna give me 3 results. I'm gonna go ahead and play the 2 shields. So I'm good there, and I can play that, but it's not gonna do me any good. So at this point, I only need 1 more thruster and 2 more reactors for my other player here who has them. So I'm just needing another shield there to help me out here. So I'll go ahead and do that. Thrusters. And I got my second shield. Awesome. So I just do exactly the same thing there. And I have exactly the same results. All right, so both of my players avoided all of their damage. That's wonderful. And then I have the results that I needed. I even met the 6. I went over what I needed to resolve. So this was successful, and I'm gonna go ahead and click done, and that's going to have us recycle our cards. All right, so now we have some rewards. Let's see what we get here. So, way to finish out strong. I like it. This scan looks crystal clear. Let me look over everything you sent and see what I owe you. All right, okay, so at this point now we have perfect sector scan. I don't think I've ever seen anything so beautiful. And actually, I might have some folks who share your affiliation for beautiful Lunar scans. I'll put them in touch. Okay, so now we have our communications guy here. We can retrieve a crew from your played or discard cards. Oh, this is one of the crew members we can choose. So all players that don't hire a crew member get 3 credits, and choose 1 ship part or crew to gain from the store. So this guy lets us retrieve a crew member from our played or discarded cards and +1 action. Not bad. Then we have this guy here. Look at the next 3 cards of your draw pile. Play one without an action, discard the others, +1 action. So that one's pretty good. And finally, trash a card from your hand to add a reactor to your discard pile plus 1 action. Okay, not too bad at all. I think I'm going to go with this one here, though. This one lets me kind of work ahead just in case I run into some trouble. And who do I want to hire that for? I think I will hire it for Unicorn. So I'll go ahead and add that to her hand. So I got to pull him from the crew. So that's a blue. And that is Crib. All right. So he will go into her discard. And my other crew member will receive 3 coins. All right, so that'll finish that off. All right, so, oh, and my personal thanks to you for your work today. When you get back to base, chat with Ada, and she can show you how to reflow your reactor or thruster systems a little more efficiently. You may search your deck and replace a non-X card with a reactor or thruster, and then we'll have to reset after that. So the question is, do I want to do that? I think I'm actually pretty happy with the breakdown. Since both of my characters added an additional one of those cards, I think I'm good. So I'm going to go ahead and just pass on that. And then all players are going to shuffle all their cards and refresh their hand. So I'll go ahead and handle that real quick, and we'll be moving on. All right, so now that I've completed that, we're ready to move on to the next one. So we can go ahead and scan a wreckage. This one's going to require reactors and damage, or we can protect an outpost. So this one is going to be shields and damage, and there is hazards with this one, and it's going to give us credits. We don't know the rewards for this one. I think I am going to try to scan the wreckage though, as I don't have a lot of damage potential at this point. And yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. So let's go ahead and scan the wreckage. Hey there, I've headed out to scan for some goodies in the old wreck we found in this area. You can tag along if you want, just go slow. There's a ton of debris out there. All right, so we have a couple choices here. So we can either, let's start scanning, or what will we find out there? Let's go ahead and just do with that. All right, so we're gonna need 3 reactors and 3 damage. We have to play our cards simultaneously. We may roll a hazard to play a card as any other default loadout card. So this one gives us additional information. The default loadout card are listed at the bottom of your command terminal. You may do this multiple times a turn. The card played still requires an action. Okay, so it lets us kind of change a card, so that could be really good. And then we have Hot Shot. Did any player deal 3+ damage on their own? Okay, well, that's not going to be the case, as neither one of us have more than a total of 2 damage currently. So let's go ahead and move in and start playing. So each one of us at the beginning of a contract gets an extra card thanks to my ability there. And it was not as helpful for this player, as I have no ability to draw additional cards during this turn, but I am going to be able to help out anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and start, why not? So I have 3 reactors, so I'm going to go ahead and start by doing that and playing 2 additional, and then I'll just go ahead and play these 3 cards there. So that gives us 3 reactors and 2 damage. And then over to my other player here, I have a reactor and a thruster. Let me draw some cards. So now I have my crew member there. I'll go ahead and play another reactor and a thruster to draw 2 more. And just continue to repeat that cycle, drawing my last card into my hand. I have 1 more card to play. I will go ahead and play the damage card because we need to do 3 damage. All right, and these will be discarded. All right, so I have met the requirements for it, and nobody did that. So we were successful, and then we're done, and we have to reshuffle our cards or draw new ones. We got something. Looks like a few old weapons and shields, nothing usable, but I bet you could use the spare parts for something. Let's press in a little further I'll warn you though, the debris will only get more dense from here. So this one has upgrade. All players may add a damage 1 or shield card to their hand. So I'll go ahead and add a damage. I can add it straight to my hand. That's kind of nice. And I'll add a shield. Why not? Let's see how that works out. Okay. All players gain a credit. So we each get 1. And onward. All right, so now we're going to need 4 reactors and 3 damage. And we each have to roll a hazard die. So starting with Dragon, blank again, and over with Unicorn. And 2 more unicorns collecting damage. All right, so that's done. And on to playing our cards. And same thing, did a player play 3+ reactor cards on their own? So this one we can actually pull off here, depending upon how things go. So question is, where do I start? So I think I'll go ahead and start with my player over here, with Dragon. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the reactor and the drawing cards. So let's see what I pull here. So 2 more. So there's a reactor and reactor. Okay. So I'll go ahead and play another one and do another 2 draws. And I did not pull the other reactor, so, but I could take a hazard to play a card as any other loadout card. So I could play another one to pull that. Why not? Let's see what I can do here. And it's another blank. Really worked out for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this shield card as another thruster. Lets me draw 2 more cards, so that'll finish off the cards in my hand. And then I will play another reactor. Lets me play 2 more cards. And I'm going to do 2 damage cards for that. And these will simply be discarded. So I've played 4 reactors and the 2 damage out of the 3. So basically all we need is 1 more damage. So moving over to my other player, I'll play my reactor. I'm going to go ahead and do some thrusters. And I'll go ahead and do that one. It gets +1 action. I can look at the next 3 cards. I can play 1 and discard the others. So I will go ahead and play a reactor. These 2 will be discarded. And let's see here. I definitely need a shield. And I need 1 more damage, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. And so I'm going to take 1 damage from that. So Unicorn's going to take a wound. But we did meet the requirements of it. And I did have a player play 3+ reactors. And we did meet the requirements of the mission. So then we're going to be done. This is going to reset. All right, so moving back in. We found some good stuff here. So with this one, I can choose 1 player may add a damage 3 and 2 X cards to their discard pile. That's tempting. I think Unicorn is going to go ahead and do that. She did have the, she was able to get rid of the 1 X card anyways, so it really only increases her deck by 1 X, and the 3 damage is going to be helpful, I think. All right, so that's been handled. Players who did not take cards get 2 credits, so Blue over here is got tons of money. Now he is up to 9 credits. And do we press on, or have we had enough for today? I'm gonna risk it and press on. So this is 4 and 3 again. We have to roll 2 dice apiece. Ugh. All right, so with Blue, 2 damage. And Unicorn, come on, don't roll a ton here. And 4, oh no. Oh no. That's not good. I knew that was gonna come up. All right, so play your card simultaneously. You may roll a hazard to play a card as any other default loadout card. And did any player play 2+ thrusters on their own? All right. So unfortunately, Blue over here does not have a thruster card, so that's not good. but I have some other cards here. So I'm gonna go ahead and play a reactor, and an additional reactor gives me 3 actions to work with. I'll go ahead and play a shield and a damage, and I do have an X card. So I have 1 action remaining, so if there's a way, I don't think there's a way right now for us to draw cards, but I can at least give an action to my ally potentially here. So I'm gonna go ahead and play a reactor, and then I'm gonna go ahead and play some thrusters. Let me draw a couple more cards. Oh, that's not good. All right, so I'm gonna have to play the reactor. I'm gonna go ahead and play 2 damage. He is gonna go ahead and do this one here. Puts it from your hand on the bottom of your draw to give an ally an additional action. I'm gonna go ahead and play 1 shield at least. And unfortunately that is all I can do. My cards did not come up quite as friendly this time. So I'm gonna take some damage here. Dragon's gonna take 1, and unfortunately Unicorn's gonna take 3 more, so she's down to 1 hit point. Not good. All right, and neither one of my players played 2 thrusters. And I don't think I want to take any more damage to do so at this point. And then the mission was successful though. I have 4 reactors out there and the 3 damage that I needed. All right, so we're going to go done. So all players get 3 credits. So it's just basically going to go to healing my players up here probably. And that is all we have. All right, so from there we have a miscellaneous. We don't know what it could be. This is or we can go straight to the base. I'm gonna do the miscellaneous, why not? Or yeah, we don't know what this is gonna be. I do have to reset my cards. Oh, wonderful, you picked up my signal. Welcome to Soul's Chop Shop. Today, we're reflowing reactor routings. I can either overclock a single ship's shields or its weapons. Heads up though, I'll need to reroute power from somewhere else. What do you say? So if I remember correctly with this one, it's gonna replace all of our stuff with this. Well, let's go ahead and go with Unicorn. We'll go with damage, why not? All right, so choose 1 player to search their entire deck and replace all their shields with damage cards. All right, so I have to go through. I don't have any shields in my hands, but then I have the 2 there, and they're gonna replace those with damage cards. And they are damage 1 cards. So now I have no shields. Okay, and then the chosen player must shuffle their cards and draw a new hand. So I'll handle that real quick. That's been done, and that is it for that. So we are on to our first base. So this lets us go back and get all kinds of stuff. So let's go ahead and handle this. All right, so Hagen seems like you've been getting along just fine out there. And I have a bunch of ship parts and crew, and I have my maintenance droid if you're interested. So let's go ahead and start off with his listings. Let's see what we got here. So each shield played also reduces the damage requirement by 1, adds +1 to your max HP. Well, that could be really useful, especially for Unicorn, since she got rid of all of her shields. And it'll make her a little bit more damage heavy as well. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do that for her. It's 6 credits, it's all of her credits almost. But that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and do that. And I need the Dauntless. So she's gonna gain that. She adds 2 shields. And it gives her another HP, so she's up to 2 again. All right, now let's see what else we got here. So once per contract, play a damage 1 as a damage 3. Not bad. And it gives me an additional damage 3 and an X. That one's 5 credits. We have twins, so thrusters are 1 less. We have play as an action. You may play a 1 damage as a 3 damage. Add a miss to your discard. Okay. Cloaking device. Roll 1 less hazard die. That could be useful. And we have block hazard dice. Play as damage equal to hazard blocked. So also handy. Block 1 hazard. Requirements for shields is 1 less. +1 card or +1 action. And then we also have +2 cards. Trash 1 card from your hands. So I think I will hire him with Dragon. So that's 2, and that is a yellow. So his name is... There he is. So he will definitely help get some cards out of my hands. Potentially getting some of these things out of here. Alright, I still have 10 credits still, so I can definitely pick up some more stuff here. So let's see what else we got here. Having some of these might be good. So I think I'll pick up this one as well. So that's 3 credits. That'll be for Dragon. It's a green crew. And that one's right on top there. Alright. And I don't know if there's anything else I want at this point. I might want to hold on to some of this. Maybe use it for later. Well, I think I'm going to pass on it though. So I'm going to go ahead and send them to the maintenance drone. So I get to choose a new thing here. So all players may draw 2 cards into their hands. So that's pretty nice. So we'll start with some additional cards for our next one. And then all players can spend 2 credits to gain 1 HP. So I might as well boost Dragon up to full health again. Unfortunately, Unicorn is almost out of credits, so she cannot partake in that. And then let's go ahead and add a squad ability. So this lets us do an additional thing. So this one lets me play 2 shield cards as an action to block 1 hazard from an ally. So that could be very handy. Or we can play 2 thruster cards as an action to allow an ally to draw 2 cards. Also very nice. Both of these are great options. I do have a lot of, I think, shields in here. Well, I've got a couple extra, not too crazy. Well, I think I'm going to go with the defense. All right, and that is all we have. So we're on to our missions again. All right, so again, we have a couple of options. We have the Gambler. This one's going to require damage and reactors. Or we can do the Rush Shipment. So this is straight up thrusters, which I've got 2 here and 1 with him. And I have that lets me look at cards and pull some. So I have the ability that I could potentially get some additional ones. We're each going to get another card. There is some hazards there. I think I might be a little bit better tooled for this one. So I think I'm going to go with that one. Greetings, my crew is loading the cargo in now. As you might have seen in the job posting, this is a rush cargo shipment. Basically, that means that if you even are 1 minute late, the contract is voided. You might need to push your thrusters a little harder than usual to make it on time. All right, let's see what we got here. So we've got 3 turns in order to get 16 thrusters played. All right, So this one is we play simultaneously. Players may add an X card to their discard pile to play as a thruster. Players may trash a card from their hand to play as a thruster. Okay, and we all play simultaneously. So each one of my players, again, thanks to that, are gonna get to play or gain an additional card to start the turn. And we each have an X card, so that's really nice. So we can start getting some of those out of our hands and using them as thrusters, because it just says to trash a card from our hand. It does not specify that it cannot be a miss card. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with my player over here with Dragon. So Dragon's gonna go ahead and start off. And is there any limitations on the number of cards? So trash cards are removed permanently from your deck. A player chooses to trash a card this effectively as if they played. Okay, so this one counts as a thruster card as well, letting us draw 2 cards. This action may be taken multiple times by all players. So very, very handy here. All right, so I'm gonna start off by playing the reactor and some thrusters. So that means that I get to draw some cards. So I gotta shuffle this and draw 2 more. So that gives me, ooh, both of my crew members here. All right, so I will go ahead and start by doing another reactor and thruster. This lets me draw 2 more. So more defense and another reactor here. So from there, I'm gonna go ahead and trash the miss. That's gonna let me add another thruster, so I'm just gonna tack that on there. And it also lets me draw 2 cards. So that's going to max out my hand. I'm gonna go ahead and play another reactor. Lets me play 2 more cards. And the question is, do I want to drop any more cards? I have 3 defense. At this point, I think my player over here is pretty good with that. So and the other option is I can take a miss, so I'll go ahead and add that back to my discard to gain another thruster. It lets me draw 2. Which again would then let me draw 2 cards, so this would get recycled and back into my hand. Good Lord, I might have broken it because technically I think I could just continue to spam that one. I think that would be very, very poor because I could trash this again to gain another thruster, which would return it, and then I could take it again. I don't know about that one. Oh man. All right, so let's head over to the other player and see what that player can do real quick though. So I have plenty of options here. So let's go ahead and start off by playing a reactor and a thruster to add 2 cards. All right, and then I have tons of cards in my hand that I could potentially get rid of here. So let's go ahead and start off with one of the X cards. So that's gonna add an additional thruster and it lets me draw 2 cards. So I got another X and a 1 damage. So I have tons of 1 damage cards. I think I'm gonna start dropping some of those to get some of those out of my hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 1 there. It's gonna let me add another thruster and 2 cards to my hands. I'm gonna go ahead and play a reactor card. Why not? And I'm gonna go ahead and do another 1 there. So that's going to give me another thruster. Lets me draw additional cards into my hands, which basically is gonna be that. So many cards. And I'm gonna go ahead and do another 1. So that adds another thruster. So we're up to 6 there. And then from there, that'll let me draw that last card into my hand. So at this point now, I'm looking a little bit better. My hand's starting to thin out just a touch. I'll go ahead and drop that other miss card. Gets me another thruster. I cannot draw any more cards. I will take that back into my discard. Adding another thruster. I won't spam that, as I don't think that's very fair. And I can play 2 more cards, so again, I'll play another thruster and reactor. And another thruster. And I know I'm not drawing cards. I think that would be a little unfair at this point. But I think that is about all I want to do, because there's not much else I can play. So I have 5 more thrusters to add to this one. So I'm at 8 right now. Adding 5 more will put me at 13. So I almost completed the contract in one go. So that's going to finish off the turn. And next turn, so I'm going to reset all of this. All right, so moving back into this, all players must discard a thruster card or roll a hazard die. Oh man. Well, this one doesn't have any thrusters at this point. I didn't draw any, so I have to roll one for that one. So I have 2 hazard coming that way. And same with this one. Neither one of my players drew any thrusters this time. And they both rolled 2 damage. Oh no, or 2 threat. All right, so we have 2 turns left. So again, I can play just like last time. All right, so I'm gonna have to make some choices here. All right, so I have a few cards here, so I'm gonna go ahead and play a reactor. And then I'm gonna go ahead and discard that to gain a thruster card. So lets me draw 2 cards. So there's a thruster and that. So I will go ahead and play the thruster. I need some, there we go. There's a reactor and another shield. So I'll go ahead and play the reactor. Lets me play 2 more cards. So I'm gonna definitely play this one. That lets me negate 1 hazard die and play as damage equal to that. So it basically cancels it and throws it back, but that's all right. So that gives me 2 thrusters total with this player. So I just need 1 more to complete this mission. And I have 1 action remaining, so I'm gonna go ahead and play 2 shield cards as my ability there, as 1 action to block 1 hazard of ally. So then this player only has 1 damage, or 1 hazard remaining that they haven't handled yet. All right, so moving over to this player now. I have a reactor, and I'm gonna go ahead and play this one here. Lets me look at the next 3 cards of my draw pile, play 1 without an action, discard others, and it gives me +1 action. So I can look at the top 3 and play 1 as an action. So I'll play the reactor. I get to discard the other 2. Okay. And then, unfortunately, I didn't draw any other reactor or thruster cards at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and play another reactor and the defense. And then I will take an X card into my discard to meet the requirements for that. Lets me add another thruster. Lets me draw 2 more cards. Gives me a thruster and a damage. And that was a free. It gives me 2, so I have some additional cards I can play. And now I get all my thruster cards. So that gives me that. And these get shuffled back up. And I'm gonna go ahead and play 1 of those misses to trash it. Lets me draw 2 more. So I have met all the requirements that I need to at this point. And I played the shield, so that blocks that hazard as well. So I have met the requirements for that. All right, so with this, so you made it impressive. Unload the supplies and grab your credits from the yard marshal, and might even have a part to spare. So I can choose. My first shield played counts as 2 shields, and it gives me +1 to my max health. So that could be very useful. And then all players that don't take the parts will be able to do that. So I do have a couple of other options here. So let's see what else we got. So this one lets me start every contract with +1 action. Not too bad. could be useful. And at the start of a contract, +1 card if you have no shields in your hand. And that also gives me +1 health. Interesting. Okay. I think I like that one actually. So I think I will purchase that for Unicorn. That gives her an extra health. And that is a green, so she's going to add a shield to her discard. And that is the Duo 1000s. She seems to be taking a lot of hits, so that could definitely be helpful there. So then my other player will get 3 more credits. So Dragon is money bags as usual. And that is it. Alright, also because you made my job so easy today, have the Marshal to point you toward my mechanic. As I told her to take a look at boosting your thrusters if you like. All players may add a thruster to their discard pile. I don't think I'm going to with this player, but might be worth doing it for my player over here. So that works. All right, so now we have another mission there. I don't know if I want to do another one of those because it's probably just going to convert stuff again. So then I have distress signal. This is thrusters and shields. Okay, or the patrol. It's a patrol drone repair. So that's credits or, and this one is unknown. Well, we do have a lot of thrusters at our disposal. So let's go ahead and do the distress signal. And I have to reset my hands. So no time for proper introduction. We've got a friendly distress signal incoming. The signal doesn't offer much detail, but it is clear it's urgent. So let's get there before it's too late. All right, so let's go. All right, so we need 14 thrusters played. We have 3 turns left to do so. We're going to play our cards simultaneously. Players may roll any number of hazard dice to add a thruster per die rolled. Okay, interesting. Well, that could be something very useful for our players. And we're ready to start. So both of our players get to draw an additional card for this. And neither one of our players drew a lot of thrusters, so this could be very interesting. Might be rolling some hazard dice here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with Dragon here. So Dragon is gonna I can do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with a reactor. And I might as well go ahead and do a thruster to begin with. So lets me draw 2. All right, so I got my other crew member here. Lets me negate the hazard, so that's pretty good. All right, so I will play the reactor, give me +2 actions, and I'm gonna go ahead and start off by rolling a hazard die. Why not? So that gives me a thruster, and I think that's, let's see, all players may roll any amount of dice at a point during their turn, but all must be blocked in order to avoid damage. Okay. And it doesn't say that it counts as a thruster, so I don't know if I would be able to draw cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off and roll 1. It's a blank, so I'm gonna go ahead and take another one. Gives me another thruster. And it's a 2, so this time I am gonna play this negates the die. And, well, let's not do that just yet. Let's go ahead and start off with this one here. Lets me draw 2. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and do that again. And play that. All right, so then this one lets me do that. Okay. All right, that's probably all the reactors I have, so at this point I'm starting to get down to it. So I'm gonna go and do that to negate the second one here. So that basically cancels it out. And I could play that guy. That would let me draw 2 additional cards. That would get me all the cards out of my hands. So I'll go ahead and do that. That gives me the other 2. And then It lets me draw 2 cards, and optionally I can trash 1 card. My hand's pretty lean, so I think I'm okay with that. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and trash a 1 damage, because hopefully I'll be able to get some more damage cards, and so I'm gonna start cleaning out some of those. All right, so that gives me 3 more thrusters from that, so I'm gonna just add those now, get that out of the way. All right, over to my other player here. That player doesn't have a whole heck of a lot here, so I'm gonna go ahead and play a reactor card, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start off by playing this one. It's basically a free card. It lets me look at the next 3 cards and play one of them, discarding the other 2. So that worked out really well because I'm not needing to do damage this time. So as my first action there, it lets me draw 2 more. So that was not very helpful there. All right, so that was my first. I have 1 action remaining with that, so that will give me 2 more. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll. It's a blank, so it adds a thruster. And I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. It's a 2, so this time when I play 1, it counts as 2, so it's gonna block all of that, and I get to add another one there. So I'm up to 7. And I will go ahead and play that as a reactor. It gives me 2 more actions. Question is, do I risk it at this point? I do have 1 more shield on hand, which would let me, if I get, it'd be 66% odds, because I have 2 blanks and 2 1s. So if I can get a 1 or a blank, I'll have enough to cover it. That will give me another thruster. Oh, no guts, no glory. Let's risk it. It's a 2. I knew it was gonna be a 2. All right, so I'm gonna play 1 shield there. And I do have an X that I could discard to the bottom of my draw pile. That lets me give my ally another action, who can play his 2 shields as 1 to block 1 of mine. So that will bring that down to 1, and then I will block it with that. So that worked out really well. And I did play 1 additional thruster there, so that's going to give me 8 thrusters total. And then did I add the 1 for the other one there? So I rolled 3 there. 6, 7, 8. So actually I should have had 1 more, I think. All right, so that gives me 9. So that was pretty good. It's a pretty good round. All right, so that will be the next turn. So now I have 2 turns left, and we're back at it. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle. All right, so moving back in, both of my players don't have a whole bunch here, but I can still take those things, and I did draw that again, so that could be helpful as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off by doing the 2 reactors and a thruster. Gets me that. Go ahead and do this. I will add that 1 there, and then I'm gonna add another one to roll a die. Let's see what I get. It's a blank, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. So add another one, and roll another die. It's a 2. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this one here. That negates that, so that'll blank that out. And I have 3 shields remaining at this point. And I can play 1 more card. All right, so I need 5 total. My other player does have 2, so I can complete this contract at this point. So I think I'm gonna hold off there and see what happens. So moving over to my other player, I'm gonna go ahead and play my reactor. Lets me play 2 thrusters. I might as well just play the other thruster card to draw 2 more. And that'll finish that off. So that adds 2 more to that. And that is 5, and I am done. Next turn, and that is gonna complete it. So we're here. Looks like a fire in the control room. I'll take care of it. Some of those crew members are going to need a place to be, any room on your ship. All right, so this one lets me play this as a damage 4, and then I have to trash the top card of my deck. All players gain 2 credits, so that's pretty nice. So I took care of that. And then let's see what else I have here. So +3 cards, requirements for thrusters are 1 less. Okay, nice. Then we have play as a damage 2 or a shield. Okay, that could be very helpful. And, or this guy. So play as a shield, and then reroll any number of your hazard dice. Ooh. That could be really nice too. Ooh. Ah, we get to choose up to 2. Nice. So, got a couple of versatile guys here. So I think I'm gonna take this guy here. And I'm gonna take him with Unicorn, because Unicorn doesn't have a lot of defense. So, pull him out of there. That's his card. And then, as my other one, I think I'll take that red guy as the other option there. So, I'll hire him with Dragon. Alright, so that is red. That gets him there. So we're getting some crew members. Alright. Moving on. So we have Bill's shop, so we're back at our repair shop. We're almost there. We got 2 more missions basically, or 1 more mission and then our final boss. So welcome back to the shop. Then after you've bought it, I'll break your elbows. Or we could also haul repairs here. Okay, so let's enter the shop. All right, so we can do some purchasing here. So we have requirements for damage are 1 less. It gives me a 3 and an X. That could be pretty handy. So let me start doing some damage. We have trash 1, your hand, do 3 more. If you play 2 or more reactors, the requirements for damage is 1 less. Nice. All allies receive +1 card at the start of a contract. And we have play your first shield without using an action. That's always good. Yeah, then he's back again. 3 actions. Requirement for reactors is 1 less. And finally, block hazard or reduce shield requirements by 2. Ooh, that's pretty nice too. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to play 3. And he is a green. Add him in there. Got lots of crew members with this one. And let's see what else we got. So I'm going to hire him with Dragon. I think we're going to go ahead and pick this one up with Unicorn. That will clear out her tokens, but nope, not she doesn't pay Dragon. All right, that will add a shield to her area, and then it gives her, that was a blue, so lets her play her first one as a free action, so that can be very useful. She doesn't have a lot of defense, so that will be good. All right, and then still got some stuff for Dragon, so that's only going to let one person draw 1 card. That's not worth 5. Not a lot of damage with them. Gatling could be fun. I think I'll do that. So that's going to be 5 credits. So he's down to just 2 credits at this point. And purchase with Dragon. So that's going to give me another X, but it also gives me a 3 damage. And then that one is a purple. See how this goes here. and Unicorn picked up an extra health with that, so one more there. All right, and then we'll go into the maintenance hangar. All right, so players may replace any one card in their hand with a shield card. I don't think I want to do that. I think I have enough shields. And poor Unicorn is out of credits at this point, so she cannot do that. Alright, and then we have a new squad ability, so let's see what we got here. So once per turn, a player may give another player the top card of their draw pile. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Or we can do spend 2 actions to allow an ally to draw a card. Well, we're going to be heading right into the boss battle at the end here, so this might be really interesting. So I'm going to go with that one. Why not? And that is everything at this point. So that is going to finish that off. So we're moving into the final rounds. So I can either do the Outlaw Chase. This is thrusters, damage, and shields, which gives me credits and ship parts, or we can do Patch the Leak. This one requires shields, reactors, and credits. This one gives us risks our credits and hazards, and it gives us crew and credits. Services as crew. We haven't really done a damage one yet, so this might be kind of fun. And Dragon still has some room on a ship for some credits. So why not? Let's give it a go. And I have to redo my hands. So let me go ahead and discard all that and draw some new stuff. All right, so with this one, we are going to be chasing down this guy here. Obtain her ship within a shield barrier and we'll take care of the rest. But please keep up with her every round or else she'll escape. She's flying her famous ship. Alright, so let's go get her. Alright, so part jam. All players must place a number of credits from the supply onto their most expensive ship parts, equal to the printed cost. So mine is going to be 5. So basically this gives me a certain number of turns, because if all of these counters go away, then the ship part is going to basically be destroyed. So I don't want that to happen. All right, and then we have all players take 3 hazard or lose a health. Oof, that's painful. All right, so with Dragon first. All right, so we got 4 on him. I'm gonna go ahead and roll these. I'm just gonna add 2 more over here, because I don't have enough dice, and see how we do on this one. All right, so much better on that, so then I can replace these with that. Okay, so we've handled that. All players must discard 1 shield from their hands, and neither one of my players have shields, so don't have to worry about that. All right, play your cards simultaneously. One player may add a miss card to their discard pile to satisfy the 1 thruster requirement, or just to satisfy 1 thrust requirement. All right, so we basically have to meet those requirements. And then we have add a shield barrier to contain that, and then deal damage. And she's got 16 hit points. And we have to find out if we meet the requirements for that. All right, so we get to start off by each drawing a card from our hand, or adding another card thanks to my unicorn's ability there. All right, well, let's go ahead and start out here. And so I've got a ton of damage coming my way, so I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with this. So I'm gonna start off by playing a reactor and a thruster. So let's me draw 2 cards. Okay, and then Let's go ahead and play another reactor and a thruster. Draw 2 more cards here. Alright, so unfortunately I didn't pull another reactor. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this one here. Lets me draw 2 cards. And I can trash a card if I want to, so I'm gonna go ahead and trash one of my X's. Okay, so maybe I'll get to play another card if my other player pulls something there. So we'll see what happens before I continue on with that one. All right, so over onto my other player here, we've got some reactors and stuff we can do. Okay, so I've got 2 actions. I'm gonna go ahead and play this one here. Let's me draw 2 cards. I have an X, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop that underneath. And let's this player play another card. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this one here. Lets me negate a hazard die so I don't take any damage, and the enemy's gonna take that damage instead, so I'm gonna do 2 to her instead for that. All right, we'll see if anything else comes up. And I do have that other ability that lets me take a card from each player. But I don't know if I want to do that just yet. And this one lets me play a shield. I haven't drawn any yet. But let's go ahead and do another reactor and another thruster. Lets me draw 2 more cards. Gives me 2 1 damage cards. I'll go ahead and play this one. Lets me look at the top 3 cards and play 1 for free, discarding the other 2. So we'll see what we pull there. 1, 2, 3. And that's 2 shields and a reactor. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the reactor, giving me 2 more actions. The shields will be discarded. And then gives me 2 more actions. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this one. Lets me play as a shield. So it's gonna count as a shield, so it'll block that damage. I could reroll, but I'm good with what I have there. And I'm gonna go ahead and play this 3 damage card to do 3 damage to the enemy. And we've got our 4 reactors, or our thrusters, so we're good there, and we've met the requirements of that. All right, so I don't have any other actions to do at this point. And so I think that is going to end my turn. So I was not able to play any shield. Well, it does count as a shield, so I do get 1 there. So that's that. And then as far as damage is concerned, I did play the 3 damage card, so I'm going to add 3 more damage there. So he's at 5. And then I think that's about it. And then each shield played also counts as a damage, so I do 1 more for that. Okay, I knew there was something else there. All right, so that'll finish that off. That's gonna finish that off. And did you meet the requirements? Yes, I did. And then this player, unfortunately, is gonna take 2 damage. So Dragon's gonna pop 2 there. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and discard all of this. Unfortunately, Dragon had a good amount of damage there. He just wasn't able to get those cards out. All right, so each of our players draws. All right, so back into the next turn. So we're gonna remove a credit from each of our components there. All right, and then all players must roll 2 hazard dice or lose an HP. So Dragon, not too bad at 2 damage, and Unicorn with just 1. All right, so the dice have been a little kinder to us. So that's done. All players cannot communicate. Starting with the mission leader, take all actions you want, then signal the next player to do the same. Ugh, okay. So I'll have to be a little more careful with that. All right, 1 player may add a miss card to satisfy one of the thrusters. All right, so I have to choose which player I want to go first. Oh, I'm short one card there. Ugh, and this player does not have another action card. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the mission leader is Dragon anyways, so. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a reactor and a thruster. Let's me draw 2. And I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that process with the second thruster, so it adds 2 more. All right, so with this one, I can negate 2 hazard or reduce shield requirements by 2. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing any damage. Damage requirements are 1 less, so that is going to add basically 1 to that for the time being. And I think I'm going to have to play that to take care of that ability. All right. And I can choose. The question is, do I want to take another X card? Not. This might be a fun time to try that other ability. Lets us each draw a card from the top of our opponent's or our allies' decks. So yeah, let's go ahead and try it. Oop, there's a reactor, and I'm gonna do the same there. So oh, he got the 3 damage. All right, so I will play. Well, I'm out of actions. Either way, I'm out of actions. Well, I should have done that before I played this. So let's go ahead and do that first. So let's go and play that. Then I will play that. Or wait, let's not do that. Let's play this guy first. Let me draw 2 cards. So if I get another, okay, so I did not get another reactor. All right, so this time, then I can play that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop there and see what happens with some of this other stuff. All right, so moving over to my other player here, I have no reactors, so that's not good. I can play a shield for free, so that's good. So that will negate this, and my other one was negated as well. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the miss under to give the other player another action. See what happens there. So that player needs to do something. So I might as well do the reactor. Let's me draw 2 more cards. All right, so now I get more reactors. All right, so at this point we'll meet the thruster requirements. I have 1 action only. And I'll go ahead and add an X, because that'll complete that, or give me that thing there. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and play a damage 3 card to start doing a little bit more damage onto him. And that's pretty much all I can do. So each shield played counts as a damage, and then I do 3 damage there. So that's 4 damage from that player. And that's pretty much it for that player. Over to my other player here, we have met the requirements for that. And unfortunately, we played 1 shield. So we have 1 more shield on there for the containment. So we're done there, and we were successful. All right, so this is all gonna go. All right, so the next turn, so we have to remove a credit again. We gotta start working a little bit better on this. All right, so that's done. And then again, we each have to roll 2 or take some damage. So over my player here, ugh, that's terrible. And Unicorn is just 1 again. Unicorn, not bad. Now that she's got all the defense, that's just how that works. All right, so all players must discard 1 reactor from their hands or trash 1 reactor from your deck. Ugh. That's not good. that's gonna screw me up. All right, so unfortunately, that's gonna hurt. Okay, so we've handled that. All right, now we're back into this. So I think we're gonna be taking some X's. All right. So this time at least we can communicate and all that again. So I'm gonna go ahead and play a reactor. Let's me play 2 actions. And let's do that one. Let's me draw 2 cards. All right, so I pulled another reactor, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm not gonna trash a card at this point. Play that, let's me draw 2 additionals. Got another reactor. And then I can play 2 more cards basically. All right, so I'm gonna play this one first. That is going to convert one of these and deal damage to him instead. So that's 2. And I do have a shield, or I can play as a damage 2 and shield. So I think I'm gonna hold on for now. Let me see what happens here. So we could do the swap again. Why not? So let's go ahead and do that. So I pulled another reactor and a thruster. All right, well, might as well continue on then. So that gives me another reactor. I'll play a shield. So that's gonna count as 1 shield there. And that'll bring this down to 1 hazard remaining. And then I can either play this as a damage 2 or a shield. We haven't really been doing a lot of damage, so I don't know how that's gonna go. What do we got here? Play as a shield, reroll. Okay. I am gonna go ahead and do that as a shield, so that'll give me 1 more there. And then over to my other player here, I get to play a shield card for free, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then we've gotten just 1 reactor so far. Oh, and it's only 1 player that can do that. So I gotta choose which player I'm gonna have do that. I'm gonna get 1 more, so I just basically need 2. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take 2 with this guy. So that's gonna give us the requirements we need for that. It's gonna give me another shield here. And I got 1 more action I can play. And I basically have to play that because I need those cards. So let's me draw 2 more. Oh, now I get that, and I got a 3 damage card. Unfortunately, I do not have any actions. All right, so that is going to take care of that. I do not take any damage, at least. All right, and then moving back into that is done there. This is done here. And we were successful. All right, so we're on to next turn. All right, so again, we're removing 1, so we're getting down there. I got 2 more credits on that one there. So luckily, we've been able to do a good amount of damage there. So again, 2 dice apiece. Dragon not so bad this time with just 2, and unicorn with 2 as well. Okay, so not terrible. All right, the player with the most thrusters in their hand must discard 1 thruster from their hand. So each one of them have 1. So I'll have to choose. So each one only has 1. So I'll go ahead and drop it with this guy here. All right, so then it's back into our turns. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that where we get to draw a card again. So I get a damage card, and my other player gets a reactor. Okay. I think I'll start with this player this time. So we're hurting on reactors, are we? Okay, so I get to play a shield for free. And that's gonna count as 2, so that'll clean those out. I wanna play a reactor. Gives me 2 actions. Play a second reactor. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the mist down to the bottom of my deck to give my the other player another action. And I will play another shield. And then I think I will take 2 misses into my discard to give our team 2 thrusters. So that means that this player has to get 2. I've got a draw of 2, so I gotta shuffle these up. All right, so moving over to this player's turn. I have 1 free action from him, so I have technically 2 actions with this player right off the bat. All right, and then I did play 2 shields. So it's gonna add 2 more there. And each shield plates count as 1 damage. So that's gonna add 2 damage there. All right, 2 actions, huh? Well, let's go ahead and start out with a thruster. I have, all right. So now I'm down to 1 action. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the reactor, gives me 2 actions. I'm gonna go ahead and play this guy here, lets me draw 2 cards. So I have a reactor and a thruster. Oh, that was nice. All right. And I get to trash card from my hand if I want to. So I'm gonna go ahead and trash one of the X's. And then I will go ahead and play as my second card, the reactor, and draw 2 more cards. Do that again. And then I'll play this. All right, so I'm gonna do that one. I'm gonna negate 2 hazard. So that'll clear that out. And then I'll go ahead and play that as a shield. That'll increase that as well. So that bumps that up to 3. And that is about all I can do. So we're not dealing a bunch of damage. And I think I forgot that from last turn, so I think that guy did at least 1 more, so I'm gonna add 1 more there for that. All right, I think that is it. So we've gotten 3 shields, correct? And I got my 2 there, and he got the 2 that he got from that. So that is correct. And this counts as 2 shields, so actually I would get an additional shield and an additional damage for that. All right, so that finishes off that. So that is contained, so that's good. 4 damage does defeat him. Oh, okay, cool. And we were successful. And that'll finish off that turn. All right, so holy smokes, you guys actually did it. All right, let's make this quick. I already took 1 part for myself, but the rests are all yours. I won't tell anyone what happened. She flew into a dwarf star and her ship totally disintegrated in the process. All right, so we get a choice. So return all credits. So these go away. And we didn't, neither one of our ship parts was destroyed. So now we're on to browse the armory. We can purchase 1 of these for nothing. All right, so we have that one. So once per contract, you may play a crew member twice. Each use requires an action. Okay. Or we have once per contract, you may discard up to 3 cards and then draw an equal number. All right. Or once per contract, play a damage 1 as a damage 3. Quantum Driver. I think I'm going to take that. I think I'm a little short on being able to damage, so I'm going to go ahead and do that one. So that is the quantum driver. Quantum driver. And that's going to add another X to my discard and a 3. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. And this all goes away. All right, so that finishes that off. And it's over to the boss. So this is it. So each of our players will draw a card, or their cards. All right, so let's see what we got here. So it's damage reactors and thrusters, and it's a hazard. All right, let's get into this and see what happens. All right, so you made it. There are the coordinates that were given, and we also acquired some healing pods from an old junkyard. I'm pretty sure they still work, but I do not know for sure. So players can freely give one another credits. So we've only got 2 credits, so it doesn't really matter. Each player play 3 credits or roll 1 hazard, unblockable hazard die and gain 2 health. All right, so basically it's going to deal damage to give damage. So as long as I don't roll a 2, then I actually get something back. So over to Dragon. So if I roll a blank here, that'd be fantastic. So he gets 1 health back. And Unicorn, come on, Unicorn. She gets 1 as well. So not too bad. I'll take it. All right, so that finishes that off. And then we're on to it. So try targeting her weapon systems. There's her relay vulnerabilities. Each turn, your shield our comms. All right, so this is going to be very important. All right, roger that. Let's get into it. All right, so we have a recharge going on. All players roll 4 hazard dice. I may trash a ship part to negate all hazards from a single die targeting you. So first off, each one of us gets to draw an additional card thanks to my ability there. And then let's go ahead and start off. So player for Dragon. Just 1. Wow, I got super lucky there. So I'm just going to place a token here for that for the moment. And for Unicorn, not quite as lucky, but not terrible either. All right, so just 1 result. So very, very fortunate this turn. All right, so that takes care of that. And I can choose to trash a ship part to negate that. So I think I'll do that, as this is only going to help me at the beginning of a contract. I'll go ahead and trash that and negate that die. So I'm just taking 1 apiece. All right, so with this one, we're playing our cards simultaneously. And then each thruster or miss card played removes 1 charge from the IWBD. Each thruster played deals 1 damage to our character as well. All right, so let's see what we can do. And then we need 4 shields to keep the comms up. That's very important, because then if we don't, then she doesn't. We don't know her vulnerabilities, and we won't be able to move ahead too well. All right, so your first damage, 1 card played counts as 3, and I have to choose who I want to go first. I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle this up real quick. All right, so each player is gonna draw the other player 1 card from the other player's hand. Ooh, she took a good card. All right, so who do I want to go first? I guess I'll try my player over here first and see what we can do. So I don't have any defense cards. I do have that, which deals an equal amount of damage. So I'm gonna go ahead and play a reactor. It gives me 2 actions. And I'll play that to give me 3 actions. I'm going to play that as my first. That is, instead of that counting, I'll get to do 1, and then this reduces it by 1. So technically that would be 4 damage. And then we have, as my second action, I'll go ahead and play this and count it as a shield, so that'll take care of that. And that will meet... I haven't played anything there. I have one action remaining. So I can either play a damage 1. I'm going to go ahead and play or return that to the bottom of my hands so that that player can get another action. I think we're going to need it for some of these shields and that. And go ahead and play that to deal 1 more damage. So that's going to give us 5 damage total. And I didn't play any thrusters, so I won't be able to do anything there. Okay, so over to my other player now. This player has 2 actions thanks to the X card played. So I'm going to go ahead and play thrusters first. So let me draw 2 cards. All right, so that was not super helpful here. I need a reactor, so I'm going to go ahead and play this card here. It's basically a free play. Lets me look at the top 3 or the last 3 cards, and gives me a free action, so it gives me 1 more action. Oh, and I get to play a shield for free. It's going to count as 2. So that means 2. I have 3. I need 1 more shield that needs to be played. So I'll go ahead and play this one. So that's going to be played as a shield. So that's going to count as a shield. That'll negate that and meet the requirements for the thing. I have to discard those. I can play 1 more card. 1 more card. So I can either do 3 damage. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play a 3 damage card. Each shield played counts as a damage, so I played 3 shields total with him, so that's going to count as 3 damage. I played a thruster, which also deals a damage, and then 3 more damage from that. Okay. Alright, I think that is everything. So the rest of this is going to be discarded. I'll have to shuffle those back up. All right, so done, and we're successful. Next turn. All right, moving into the next round. Oh man, we gotta roll 5 hazard dice. And we can trash a ship part to negate that. So first off with Dragon, there's 4. It's cracked. 5, 6, so 6 going at Dragon. This might not be good. And over to Unicorn. She has 4, 5, so 5 for Unicorn. Got lots of damage coming our way. Okay, so now we're recharging. All right, each thruster or X reduces that. Each crew member played deals 2 damage. All right, so hopefully we'll be able to do some good damage here. Fortunately, we only have 1 crew member so far, but we'll see what we can do. All right, so each of our players, I'm gonna go ahead and start off. Question is, with this player, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that to reduce that by 2. So I had the 2 there. And then over here, I don't really have anything that I want to drop at this point, but I do have some pretty good stuff, so I think I'm good there. All right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and draw a card from each. So I pull an X here, and you took another crew member of mine. All right, which actually works out pretty well for that one. All right, so I think I will start here first. And I get an action. Well, maybe not, because I need a reactor card or some X's. So I'm gonna go over here first with this player and start off. I'll go ahead and drop an X to give that player another action, so they'll have 2 actions at least. I have a reactor card, and I get to play a shield for free. So I'll go ahead and do that. So that's going to count as 2 shields. And then I got 2. So negate 2 hazard or reduce shields by 2. So that's pretty good too. All right, I'm going to start off by playing a thruster. So let me draw 2 more cards. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and hold there and move over to my other player, because I'm going to have to go bouncing back and forth, I think, here. So first off, let's go ahead and start adding this stuff up. So that's going to count as 2 shields. So that's going to negate 2 there. And each shield counts as 2 damage, or 1 damage. So that's that. And then over to this player, I have 2 actions to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So let me draw 2 cards. So, oh, I got a reactor, that's great. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that. So that gives me, that's my second action. So now I have 2 actions left. Play that. Let me draw 2 more. Gives me another reactor, so I'll play that. It gives me 2 actions. And then let's see what else I got here. So I have 3 shields and a 3 damage. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop these 2 to give my other player 2 more actions. I'm gonna go ahead and play this to deal 3 damage, and I will play a shield to stop 1 of those, and we'll see if I can do anything else at this point. So 1 shield's gonna take 1 away, and I'll do 3 more damage. So that's 5 so far. And that's pretty much what I can do at this point. I'm going to take 3, but I'm going to still be alive. Over to my other player here. I've got, so that gave me 2 more actions. So I have 3 actions total at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and play this guy here. It lets me draw 2 cards, and I can choose a trash card from my hand. Ooh. Well, maybe not. I think I want to hold on to that, so I'll go ahead and drop that down to give my other player another action. Which I'm going to go ahead and play 2 shields as 1. Play 2 shields as 1 action to reduce the hazard of an ally by 1. So I'll negate that for my ally. And that will help out. That's that. All right, so I have 2 actions remaining over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off by playing this guy. So it's gonna negate 2 hazard. And that's another crew member, so that's gonna do 2 more. I have 1 action remaining, so I'm gonna go ahead and play the reactor. And then I'm gonna play some thrusters. So far I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 thrusters, so that's gonna give me 4 on the charge thing. I got 2 left, or 1 left at this point. So I could do another thruster card. Drops the charge down by another 1, or I could do a damage card, or a shield card, which also does damage. So I've got 4, 5, 6 so far for my player here. And then 3 over here for 9. So I missed 2 points somewhere, so I gotta add 2 more there. All right, so I can bump this up by 1 more damage, or I could play another thruster and see what I can do with that. I would drop another charge, or I could do 1 more damage. I'll go ahead and do that. Let me draw 2 more. Okay, and that's going to drop another charge. So that's 5 charges. So I'll take care of that. And 9 damage. Drops them down to 14. And I did meet the requirements of the shields. Alright, so now I'm going to reset. Alright, moving into the next turn. Okay, so the thing is charging. So it's at 14. 6 hazard dice. Oh, it just keeps going up. All right, so Dragon's gonna take 3, so he's down to 1 hit point. So this might be the last turn for Dragon. So that's 3 so far, and I got 2 more to roll. And so the Dragon's got 4 so far. So not terrible. That's not so horrible. Over to Unicorn. Ugh. So that is 6 so far. 7. So Unicorn just got hammered. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, and then we can drop cards to take care of that. So I think at this point this card isn't really going to do me any good. So I'll go ahead and do that. That gets rid of 1 of those. And I don't know if I want to, because this is helping me out as well. So I think I'm going to see where I fall with this. All right, so we're going to play our card simultaneously. This does the same thing, and every reactor played deals a damage as well. So she's only got 14 hit points. So I just need to stay somewhat alive and see where we stand with this. Okay. So I think I'm going to go with my player over here. I'm going to play this. Lets me do 2 reactions. Before I do that, let me go ahead and shuffle these up real quick let me do that switcheroo with our draw piles. Maybe this will help out a little bit here. All right. So each of us draws a card. He gets a reactor, and I get another X. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, that could actually work out. So I'm going to go ahead and spend all of these. And drop those down there. So that's going to give my player over here 4 additional actions. So I'm going to go ahead and drop some credits there to count as those so I can keep track of that. So I have 2 actions that I can play. So I'm going to play this. That's going to count as 3 damage. So I got 1 damage from the reactor card. And then I got 3 more from that. So unless something major happens, poor Dragon's going to go down, but he contributed 4 damage overall and 4 actions over here. So we'll see what we can do with that. All right, so I have a total of 5 actions currently. I will go ahead and play that. That gives me, so that drops me down to 4, but then gives me 2 more. So I have 6 actions, and then I also have a shield there. That's going to count as 2 shields. So that will take care of that one. So that takes me down to 5 damage. And it's going to do 2 damage to her. And then I played a reactor, so that's going to give me an additional 1. So I'm at 7 so far. And then I'm going to go ahead and play this one. This is basically a free card. Lets me look at the top 3 cards in my draw pile. So there's 1. And then I got to do 2 more. All right. And then 2 more cards. Ooh, that's a tough choice. I guess I will do the thruster. So these 2 get discarded. That counts as that. Lets me draw 2 cards. All right, and then I'm I continue on. So from there, then I'm going to play another reactor, giving me 2 more actions. So I'm down to 5. This one lets me play it as a shield. It's going to do another damage. And it lets me re-roll. So I'm going to go ahead and re-roll these 2 and see if I can get a little bit better. So reduced it by 1, so that's down to 4. And it's going to count as 1 shield, so that's going to negate 1 of those. And then all I got left pretty much at this point is the 2 3 damage cards. So it's going to do 6 more damage to her. And that's 14, so that'll finish her off actually. And so with the charges, I played just the 1 thruster card and the X card. So technically I could play that. Not that it's gonna matter too much. So that'll take care of that. I did 14 damage to her. So she is going to be defeated. And the requirements, I got 1 that counts as 2. And then I think he counts as 1, so that's 3. And that is it. So no, I did not meet that. Next turn, so you did it! This was a massive step towards thwarting the UVs. Yep, alright. And that is it. So cheers! Alright, so it's going to give us our stats here. So contracts completed were 10, squad abilities 3, ship parts 7, crew we had 6, generals defeated 1, contracts completed 12 out of 28, it looks like. Locations visited is 10 out of 19, and squad abilities collected is 6 out of 21. Well, I hope you found this video helpful in deciding on whether or not you want to download this app. Again, this is a free download, so you won't have to pay anything for this. The only requirement is that you have at least the core game of Moonrakers that'll work with it. Other than that, let me know in the comments down below what you think of this, whether this is something you're going to add, whether this is something that you are okay with or excited about. And like I said, I had a really good time with this one. I really enjoyed it. I think this really adds a different layer to the game, and I'm not opposed to games that add apps like this that really add to the game, and I think in a way enhances the game quite a bit, or just gives you another way of playing the game. I enjoy Moonrakers in a number of different fashions. I love the solo game, but this cooperative mode really hits the spot for me, as I'm a big fan of cooperative games. So I was really excited about this. But I'd love to hear from you as well, so let me know in those comments below what your thoughts are around this. Again, this is going to be available very shortly, either upon the time that you see this video from my channel or very shortly after. And again, it is still a work in progress. It completely plays and there aren't any problems. I didn't have any problems with it crashing or anything like that, but they are still fine-tuning and balancing things within the game. So there might be little changes or updates that you'll have to keep in mind as they release that, because they're still working on some of this stuff and they will be adding additional content later on. Again, I'll have in the description, as well as at the end of the video, links to all of the other videos. So if you want to check out some of my other coverage for each one of the expansions that's going to be coming later on next week or this week, depending upon when this video drops, for all the rest of the stuff for Moonrakers that's going to be coming, on top of some of the other stuff that they're going to reveal as the campaign goes, which I'm really excited about. Now, the one thing I do want to point out is that if you have this expansion or you're looking at getting this one, I definitely pick up at least a couple of sets of additional hazard dice, as that is the one thing that you are very short on within the video. As you saw, I was constantly having to use tokens and other things, which you could totally do as well, but I definitely am going to be adding a few sets at least to my copy so that this works out a little bit easier for me. Other than that, thanks so much for taking the time to watch the video and leave me feedback on that. I do really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, drop those in the comments below, or swing by the Kickstarter's main page as well. I'm sure Ivy Studio would love to hear from you and are more than happy to answer any questions you have. Until next time, I'll see you later.